running a half marathon all winter. My girlfriend Fiona and I started running regularly in September. And so her and I, for the most part, have been running 2 times a week, and our runs range in length, so anywhere between around 6 kilometers and maybe 10 or 11 kilometers on average. We've had a few longer runs in there, but our runs have been a little bit limited just because we've been running at night and we've been running through the winter. Motivation has definitely been a little bit tricky on some nights, and I think inspiration too. Like when you're in the dark, you can't really think of where to go, and certain places you're a little bit more reluctant to run. I know we are, just because it's dark. We're not sure of the conditions. Some streets in Victoria don't have sidewalks. Some of them are very well lit. We're limited, like we can't run on trails and things like that at night. So we've been really good about our consistency, and I never in a million years could imagine running as regularly and consistently as I have. And I give a lot of credit to the fact that I have a running partner and that we both have the same goal of this half marathon at the end of May. In addition to our 2 weeknight runs, I do try to get out at least sometimes on the weekends, and that is my chance to get a longer run in. And I've been really amazed at the distances I've been able to run, and this is all with the preface of, like, I haven't been a runner my whole life. Like, this isn't something that I've trained in ever. Like, this has always just been something I've done for myself. And over the years, I have run around 10 kilometers. And in Victoria, I've always really felt safe with the Elk Lake loop, because it's 10K and you're on a loop, and it's just like, it's kind of a no-brainer. It takes the brain work out of it, whereas larger runs require a little bit more foresight on like where you're going and planning the kilometers out. Just over 16 kilometers is my longest run. And it's so funny, I think a half marathon is just over 21 kilometers. For the longest time I was saying 22 kilometers, and I think it's less than that. Anyways, I try not to get in my head about the numbers too much because it just kind of throws me off. But going against that, I am trying to run 18 kilometers today. That is the goal I pulled out of thin air. It's really because it's a little bit more than I've ever run before, and that's the goal. The goal is to run a little bit more every time, and I'm not thinking like, oh, in order to train for a half marathon, I need to run the half marathon, but I also have this, I have to just recognize that I have a mental block, and the mental block, I'd rather be dealing with this mental block a little bit before the actual day of the race and just do that work ahead of time instead of game day. So one thing that I am getting better at, certainly there's still room for improvement, is stretching. Running is so brutally hard on my body. I don't know if this is just running in general for everyone, but I have not developed a very consistent stretching and recovery practice, and that's something I'm trying to really adapt. And what I've really noticed is how tight my lower back and hips are. And what has happened on the longer runs is I'll get to, I'll get kind of in the 12, 13, 14 kilometer mark, and it's like I have this band of tension, and it really immobilizes me, and it makes it feel as though I'm just running with my legs, and it feels like my legs just burn out a lot faster because I'm not able to support my legs with my hips and my upper body. I really don't know the mechanics of this, but that's how it feels. So I was just doing this quick little yoga practice and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I used to be able to touch my toes and bend without even thinking about it, and since running I am so tight, and that is not good. That's not good. So just spending a little bit of time. My goal was to get out there by about 8 o'clock, and it's just before 8 now, so I'm just finishing up some coffee. Might eat a little bit. That's the other thing, is I really can't eat much before a run because I get cramps really easily, and it may just be what I'm eating or how much I'm eating. Haven't figured all that out, but I'm gonna try to put something in my stomach. And then I'm gonna take you with me. So the route I chose started with a hill, and I was just trying to focus on going slow, and that's always a struggle for me, is finding a sustainable pace. So I'm trying to stay really mindful of that this morning. I think the first 3 to 5K are the hardest. I'm like really trying to find my pace, and it's also when my mind is the busiest. And as I go on, I think my mind clears, my pace sort of levels out, and it just feels easier. I just ran past another runner, and it's the best feeling when you just acknowledge each other with like a little peace sign, a little wave. It's just like pure fuel. Like, fuck yeah, we're out here. I'm on kilometer 6 and it's flat. My body's warm. My pace is sort of regulated and I feel great. Like, it would be really tempting to go really fast, but I'm not quite ready yet. So I'm just gonna enjoy this. So I'm just at 11K, which is feeling good. I've gone a little bit off course because I did this run before and got to about 16K, so I tried to just like add a little 2K bump without actually paying attention. So we'll see what happens. I don't really know where I am. Yay. I'm on kilometer 15
And I've switched from listening to the podcast to listening to music. And the podcast was so helpful. It really felt like I had a running partner. And yeah, just some like really good takeaways. And it was kind of cool to like have takeaways while doing the activity. But for these last few K, I need the energy. So, time for music. I'm on kilometer 17, and I've officially pushed past my longest run and pushed past my mental block going beyond 16K. Last kilometer. I did it. 18.04 kilometers. And it feels really good. Yeah, feeling pretty proud. The last kilometer was a little rough because I was sort of ahead of schedule. I got home with about 0.8 of a kilometer to go, and so I kind of was just like running back and forth close to home, which didn't feel like it just, I don't know, felt weird. But I loved that route. It was a good mix of like residential and oceanside, and it was a really quiet morning. Not a lot of people out. The weather, like the temperature is perfect. So, yay. Now I'm gonna go eat. That was a really good run. I am just gonna do a little bit of stretching, and I wish I had a foam roller. One thing I really liked about that podcast was, I already mentioned it, but just felt like I was running with a friend, and I usually do run with a friend, so it was nice to have that sort of company. And yeah, these are ultra marathoners. These are very, very well trained, well accomplished runners. So to feel like you're kind of in conversation with these people is really motivating, especially while you're doing the thing. Like, oftentimes I'm listening to podcasts and I'm in my car and I'm driving somewhere, like I'm not doing the thing. Like, I listen to a lot of motivational and self-help type things, and oftentimes I'm like, oh, I wish I was writing in my journal right now or putting some of these things into practice. So it was neat to actually be running while listening to people talk about running, which I thought would be kind of a drag, but it wasn't. Like, it was really, really inspiring. And the one thing that I'm carrying with me is that they were talking about like emptying the tank, and when you're running, like, you're just trying to like give it your all, and they reframed it as like, this isn't hard, it's just effort, and you're gonna try to give something your max effort, and there are gonna be lots of things in life where you need to access your max effort, and it doesn't have to just be around running. Like, you don't have to just have that mentality with running, and I think it's helpful when you are running to know that that mentality applies to a lot of different things. So like, you have likely used your max effort in other things before. So I really did appreciate that reframe, and just getting into more of like the narrative of this is just effort, and you know, it's a choice, and it's not that it's hard, it's just that it's work. And that has been something I've heard before, and I really was feeling that this morning. I got emotional. I might even get emotional right now. Whew. I've written a blog post about this that I'll link in the video description, but running was not my friend for many years. It was actually like a bully, and I think a lot of people, maybe especially women, but I think a lot of people can relate to this, in that running is a, you know, a form of exercise. And I used to do it for like weight loss purposes, and I used to put really strict like rules and guidelines around it. And I won't get into the whole story because it would be just repeating what I wrote in my blog, but essentially I've had to really shift my mentality of running around. It's not for necessarily just physical benefit or physical gain. It's more for my mental health than anything. Like that's what keeps it sustainable, is this dedication to my mental health, and this dedication to just myself, and like giving myself time to be in my body and clear my mind and focus on my breath. And yeah, just, it's where the emotion comes from, is just like, it's just an appreciation for being able to have access to that, and to have clarity in that mentality, and that I've moved away from this toxic relationship, and I've moved into something that feels really nourishing and really healing. So yeah, I think that's all I'll share about running today. This video, it may seem a little niche in some ways, but running is a really big part of my mental health journey, and it's a big part of my life. Like I've committed up to 3 days of my week to running, and I've gained so much from it, and from sort of a mental wellness, and I don't know, just it aligns really well with these healthy habits and routines that I'm trying to build, and just like really stripping things back to the basics. And yeah, I just thought I would share that with you today. So thanks for coming along, and if you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you liked this video and subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me, and it really does help me out. And I'd love to hear any of your running journeys. If you are also a runner, I'd love to chat with you in the comments section. So hopefully we will be talking soon. Okay.